Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Prologue. As in a book or a play, the prologue sets the backstory of the events that lead to the main story. Same way, here we delve deeper into the minds of philosophers, entrepreneurs, future thinkers. We have today someone very special, Mr. Pankit Desai, who is the CEO of Sequretek, which is a leading security company which analyzes threats, IP threats, and other stuff which only he knows. He will explain to us when we get into details. So, first we ask him about himself, let him introduce, and after that, we will delve deeper into how he became what he is today. Pankit.
Hi, thank you, Ganga. It's a pleasure connecting with you across, 10,000 miles, if not all, thanks to Zoom and technology that gets us connected so seamlessly. So I'm a first generation entrepreneur, started Sequretek about 12 years back. But prior to that, spent 20 years now in the corporate world, mostly in sales and operations. I've lived across, now 7, 8 cities. Started my journey in Ahmedabad, then Mumbai, then Delhi, then Bangalore and Chennai, then moved to the US, stayed in 3, 4 places before deciding to come back to India. Worked for some amazing brand names in the industry, whether it was IBM, Wipro, NTT Data, including some very small companies that we were instrumental in turning them around and taking them, or rather giving the exit to the investors. So I have a very diverse experience. After 20 years of working for someone, I reached a juncture in my life where the fundamental question of why you're doing what is kind of front and center for you. And I always felt that in a large company, it is very hard to determine if the success is because of you or in spite of you. And it's very difficult to kind of point down what your legacy is. And I felt that maybe starting out on my own could potentially be a way to solve that or rather answer that question. So Anand, who's my partner in crime, who's currently based out of our New Jersey office, the two of us stepped out. He also has a very similar career as mine. He also worked for tech companies. In the last role, he was a CEO of Symantec South Asia. So he saw security up front and close. And I had never dealt with security, but his experience of security and what he was seeing in the market convinced me that the two of us should join hands and build the platform that we have today that takes care of enterprise detection, response, and risk remediations.
Superb. So that is okay. Your professional career, but let's go furthermore. In the background, and let's see as you have as a flashback. Like, what were you actually trained to be? What you're doing today? This is how you started. Did you think about that? This is going to be my planned future.
No, I don't think so. We came from a middle class background. Getting education and finding a job was the only thing that was hammered in your head, right? So find a goddamn job and get out of the house and be independent, right? I mean, that's the thing that every Indian parent was aspiring for their child, and we were no different. My dad was a government servant, a mom a school teacher, so I wouldn't say I had a difficult financial growing up, but you could see the challenges that they had in terms of making their ends meet, and everything that they had, they put behind our education. I mean my sister and I. And when I graduated from school, from engineering, then I did my MBA. I was absolutely clear that I will take up a job. And I mean, mind you, I'm an early 90s kid. There was no concept of entrepreneurship. India was not known to be friendly for business. So there was no question in my mind that we had to find a job. And I was blessed to find a great job with the then public sector company, CMC, but operated probably better than any private sector company that I came across. So yeah, to answer your question, no, I had never thought that I will start a business. In fact, for the next 15 years, there was never the question in my mind that I was ever going to leave a safe corporate job.
That's interesting, Pankit. So you mentioned that there was always a challenge in a middle class family. Now, speaking of challenges, what was the biggest challenge that you faced when you first started Sequretek?
Actually, when you started security, there was no challenge because you were come with all this rosy picture of how great the life is going to be. It's only when you get in and start seeing the travels and tribulations of how a business operates, the rosy picture starts getting painted from rose to blood red. I guess so.
I love
You have
it.
to go through the journey, right? So it is not I think the realization dawns much later, and sometimes jokingly I'll tell that if I known what I know, if I had known then, maybe I would have still continued doing the job because it isn't an easy journey for anyone. And especially starting in your 40s is not the easiest time to
So true.
start a business. But I guess uh, if you count from sheer satisfaction of what I do at the end of the day, nothing beats this. Nothing beats this. So the fact that you're doing something that feeds 400 families, because that's the number of employees that work with us.
Wow.
We are the first for most of the people that we hire. They are generally the first graduates in their family. They're generally the first ones to have a white collar job. We see the satisfaction in their eyes when we give them an offer letter because they wouldn't have expected one. So that to me gives me a good sound sleep, saying, okay, we're doing something right.
Super. I like what you said. Like you come with a rosy picture, then that becomes blood red. So, a follow-up question on that, Pankit. Have you ever considered when you started and having these challenges? Have you ever considered like quitting and thinking that probably I'll just get back to working and working under someone else again? Have there been moments like that?
Not really. Not really. I don't think so. Um, yeah, I guess we had taken every penny that we had and put it in the business, so there was no question of going anywhere. A lot of money and sweat had gone into it. But I guess even if that wasn't the case, uh, one thing a long corporate career teaches you is resilience, right? So you really know how to fight your day-to-day battles, and I guess giving up is not an option, especially because I came from the sales side. So you are used to ups and downs, right? When you win a deal, you lose a deal. You have a good year, you have a bad year, and you still have to maintain the equanimity at the end of it and still come back stronger, right? So
So
I
true.
guess that part was me. I mean, you get frustrated. I'm not saying that it's not happened. You do get frustrated. You sometimes feel that things could have turned out better or some things could have gone in your favor. But I think take it on the chin and move on.
So, being a first generation entrepreneur and you start on your own from the scratch, you and your partner, obviously, and then now you have 400 people, obviously, you have a team below you. You cannot be everywhere, you cannot do everything. So, you build your team. Now, it is very difficult for an entrepreneur, first generation entrepreneur, generally, I would say, to empower the people. And it's always, you always feel that if I can do the job the best if I do it myself, kind of. So how did you build your first team? How do you trust your team? And at what stage you decided to empower and start giving out tasks which they will perform efficiently as you?
I guess we were blessed to have worked in corporate from very early on. So we understood the benefits of structure and teams and level twos. I mean, we are used to having that organization. So I would say within the very first year, we had a head of sales and we had a head of delivery and we had a head of product. So while it's not that we were not involved in every part of the business, we were involved, but there were assigned responsibilities for different functions, including finance and other things. So we had spent money in building structure. So I was very clear from day one that we wanted to build a company that scale and not the company to sell, because there are two ways in which tech companies get built. You build a company to sell. In that case, you're just focused on creating a strong product IP,
Yeah.
get a minimum viable product, get a few customers, and then you know exactly who's going to buy you, a tech company or a B tech company.
True.
We weren't thinking that way. We were very clear that we will build this company to scale and sustain and grow. And that's not going to be possible if it is very founder dependent.
True.
So
True.
yeah, I
True.
think to that degree we had very clearly identified that these are the roles that we wanted to have. We had a lot of learnings in the process. So some of the learnings that I could share is that original level twos were people that we knew in our past lives, people we had worked with. You have a certain level of comfort that you bring in, you bring them in rather. And then we realized that that wasn't the smartest move for a couple of reasons. When you work in a corporate world, you are used to systems and processes and resources, which in a smaller company doesn't exist.
True.
So, while as an entrepreneur, I have no choice but to really learn a lot of the corporate behaviors and go back as a hustler, so to say, for lack of a better word, to get things done. the team that you bring in is not equally invested enough to be able to do that, or sometimes just not capable enough to do that. So, getting a friend or to do that transaction puts a lot of relationship in a strenuous
100%.
situation, right? You're not able to pay what they were getting somewhere else, so they think they are doing you a favor. You think you are doing them a favor. So some of those were lessons that we learned. So we became extremely cautious about who we kind of bring on board going along. So
Wow, I mean that is such a deeper insight into actual relationships when they come into play in business. But now coming to the business aspect of this, I'm not too much into this, so I would not know. You will have to help me out. But I think cybersecurity is a big thing now, and I'm pretty sure you will have competition also. Now AI is
yes.
also coming into play. So how do you keep ahead of competition and abreast with the technology?
So I think obviously having a larger team helps because there are enough touch points in the market that aggregate information and bring it to you. We ourselves are fairly connected in the ecosystem. Um, we, I guess, for the size that we are, I would like to think that we punch above our weight in terms of being able to issue thought leadership conversations in the market space. We have a threat advisory that gets issued every week. There are over 5,000 subscribers from worldwide that absorb that. We have a very large malware research team. We collect roughly about 13 to 15 billion data points every day. So information collection, understanding is not much of a problem. The bigger issue is how do you channelize that back into what you are going to deliver in the market space. So information, in fact, you have a problem of information overload. How do you take that, assimilate it, and make sense for what you are going to go and solve as a specific problem that day or through a set of problem platforms that you have? And we've had a good track record of releasing a new capability every couple of years. So today we have 5 major capabilities in the last 12 years. So we just released a couple 5-6 months back. Each of the capabilities themselves undergoes a lot of iterations and versioning and newer features and capabilities. So we try and stay connected with what the market needs are. And with 300 customers, there are enough conversation points that you have with the customers who kind of give you an insight of what they expect in the market space. Secondly, on the AI side, it is both an opportunity and a threat. Opportunity in the sense we can use AI to do our tasks much faster, better, more predictable. So security by nature tended to be content heavy. So if you're using an antivirus, it's giving this colloquial example, it updates content every so often. But with AI, you may not need to update very often because even if you don't have an updated content, the AI can do the job of detection and prevention. Likewise, in our platforms also, we use AI to do a lot of that activity. But on the other hand, the threat actors also use AI to continuously morph and change the way they go after breaking into customers and enterprise systems. So it is a game of cat and mouse that gets played through. Some days they are ahead, some days we are ahead. And ironically, for them, they have to succeed only once, and we have to succeed every single
Every
time.
day.
Right? So that's the thing that you're always fighting against.
Superb. You have a lot of idioms and jargons and examples. I absolutely am enjoying this. I wish there was enough time, but for the sake of time, I would now want to end this very soon. However, I want you to have the last word, where if there was an advice you would like to give or a book you would like to recommend, something that inspired you for a young budding entrepreneur, what would that be?
I would say don't wait too long. In just simple, I think the world is for job creators and not job seekers. It is extremely tough right now in the market to find jobs, especially if you're young. A lot of those tasks are being taken over by AI. So it's going to be extremely tough. We are not going to uh, see that kind of heady growth that we saw. So this tech industry has been the most unprecedentedly growth-centric industry for the last 40 plus years. From the 80s onwards till about 2024, there was, barring a few blips here and there, it has always seen a growth. They were well-paying jobs. You uplifted communities and countries all along, and all you had to do was get an education, get a degree, and you would be set for life. That is no longer the case. And what's happening is that AI is actually taking away the L1, L2 task, which is where you would go as a fresher. So it's going to be extremely hard unless you have a very differentiated skill that someone is seeking for. My advice is that you are far more connected, you're far more aware than we ever were at that age that you are at. You are well read, you appreciate what's happening in the world, you have enormous amount of information at your hand. You have technology that can help you convert that information into a reality based on whatever your identified problem statement is. So I guess if you were to go down that route, it is relatively not easiest, probably wrong word. It is a safer bet because as a kid, you have parents who can be your fallback option. Like in my case, at 43, when I started this journey of entrepreneurship, if we had not succeeded, I only dread to think what would have happened because of the liabilities that we carry at that age, right? So family and kids and education and parents and homes and mortgages, this doesn't leave too much room for failure.
True.
But at 22, 23, it's okay if you fail. You'll still have a home to go to and your parents will take care of feeding you a couple of meals a day. So start early is what I would say.
Superb. So friends, that was Pankit Desai, the CEO of Sequretek, a leading cybersecurity company in the world. And thank you so much, Pankit, for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
So this was PROLOGUE, brought to you by Professional Logistics Network, an award-winning network. See you soon. Bye-bye.